Hello, fellow menstruators and those who want to be menstruators, as well as those who are supporting us. In our community event today for My Period Data is Mine, we have Marcel,
Hello.
and my name is Daniela. So, what we are doing is we are working on a period tracker that allows you to enter your data on your phone. The data will stay on your phone, and you're the only person who has access to it. The difference between ours and other tools is that in addition to the data staying on your phone, it will also be encrypted, not only via the standard Android or Apple encryption that you get with your phone, but also it will be encrypted from the ground up. That means the database will be encrypted with the passcode that you choose, and it will never be unencrypted. The encryption cipher that we are using is currently not breakable. It is not hackable by any of the governments around the world, as far as we know, and it is even supposed to be unhackable with quantum computers. So your data will be safe as long as you enter it into this app. Now, why is that important? It's important because time and time again, there are cases where women are going or are sent to jail because they are suspected to have had an abortion. And for everyone who's had the period for some time and is not on hormonal contraceptives, you know that if you're stressed, your period may be a little bit late. If you have a cold or the flu, it's not always 100% regular. It simply isn't. It can't be. Life gets in the way. That's just how it is. I just reposted an article about how stress can influence your period and in some cases even make it disappear completely for a little while. Happened to me at some point, and guess what? It's not funny. It's not funny not knowing if your period does not happen. So, again, getting back to the point, why is it important? Exactly because of that. Do you really want to go to jail just because your period is a little bit late? I personally don't. Now, if people think that's hyperbole, then please look it up. Go and research in the news that it actually that happens, and it's not only in the US at the moment. It's not only North America. No, it's everywhere. Poland has done it. The UK is doing it. Germany is doing it. Everywhere, literally everywhere. So please be aware. It's not only a very localized problem. It's quite global. And your phone, whilst you have good intentions of looking after yourself and putting your data in, your data is not safe. In particular, any period app that is sending your data into the cloud, that data is open to everyone, literally everyone. And what I mean by that is just, for example, Flow, which is a very popular period tracking app, has been sued successfully to pay out. They settled out of court for, I think it was 60 million or something. Not enough, in my opinion, but they settled out of court to make it go away. So that was Google and Flow together that settled. There was a third party involved, and the party is Meta. That's the people that bring you Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, just to mention a few. And now Meta is being sued as well. And the most recent news article that I have seen means or stated that currently they're looking at a fine per person, per impacted person, of 5,000 US dollars. That means the overall fine for the 1.6 million people impacted is going to be 80 million for Facebook. So it's important to take care of your data because Mark Zuckerberg has stated very early on in the career of Facebook that, well, if people give me the data, I'm happy to sell it and do whatever I want with it. That's the kind of people you're dealing with. So please make sure that you know who has access to your data and how they're going to use it. That also includes governments. As I mentioned, women have been sent to prison, so your government may not be any better. And again, everybody knows about the US that women are being denigrated to be not not much more than a breeding cow in this world, which just breaks my heart. But there are very few abortions in the US at this point in time. Currently, contraceptive pills are being targeted. The Plan B, meaning med, medicinal medicinal abortion pills are being revoked from the market as well via official channels and the FDA, and contraception will be next. Well, what's left then? Abstinence. I'm not sure about you. Abstinence at times can be a good thing, but do you really want to be abstinent for the rest of your life? I don't. So again, think about what you want to do with your data, make the right choice. That's my little rant of the day. There is good news as well. For example, because of what happened in the US and other countries, Spain, for example, just put the women's agenda back on track. France has put it into their constitution that everyone has a right to abortions. So there are successes out there. But what that means is that you personally, not your neighbor, not your parents, not your children, but you personally have to take a decision. Who are you going to vote for in elections? Which apps are you using? Are you supporting somebody who's selling your data? Or are you choosing apps that are more secure? Why not use Signal that is secure and safe and encrypted over WhatsApp? Little choices like that make a big difference. And with that, I'm handing over to Marcel, who has some more technical updates.
I think it's important also to talk about automatic backups on devices. Now I'm going to speak to the Android device, because on Android, if you get a new phone, for example, you log into the new phone with your Google account and all your apps are downloaded and all your data is there. Now, how does that happen? The data needs to be backed up, and your data is backed up automatically. Every app is automatically backed up to your Google account. It's stored on your Google Drive in a secret hidden spot, so you can't actually see it, but it's sitting there. Every app that you install by default is backing up your data to the Google Drive. So even if you have an app that says that they're keeping the data on the phone and only on the phone, or you have a choice to only keep the data on the phone, if you connect to the network, your data will be backed up to your Google account in the cloud, which means that your data is in the cloud, stored by Google, and can be subpoenaed by the government or the DOJ, right? So they can access that data if they decide that it's criminally needed. So there's needs to fall under the Subpoena Act, but they can access that data. Now, you need to make sure that your data is not automatically backed up. So you can go onto your phone and you can disable automatic backups, but you need to do that manually yourself. It's not by default, your apps and every single app has been backed up. The other thing is that an app designer, for example, our app, you can disable automatic backups so that the app itself is not backing up your data to the cloud. So my period data is mine is not backing up your data to the cloud. Even if it did back up the data to the cloud, that database is encrypted. So the data that gets backed up would be an encrypted database that gets backed up to the cloud. So you're still protected by that database being encrypted. But unless an application actually does the encryption of that data themselves, the data, even if it's encrypted en route, as everyone says, it's end-to-end encrypted, even if it's encrypted en route, the data itself will be stored in a file hidden from you, so you can't check to see whether it's there or not, right? And that data can be subpoenaed by the government or any criminal investigation. Now, if abortions are considered criminal, that data can be subpoenaed to decide whether you have had an abortion or not. So my period data is mine, as far as I know, is the only app that actively disables the backups. So the data is never backed up to the cloud. Yeah. And even if it was, it would be encrypted by the encryption on the database itself. So it's another aspect to be aware of. Just because you think your data is encrypted on the phone, just because you think your data is kept on the phone, just because the data is encrypted end to end, doesn't mean that data is not available to the government if they require it. And my period data is mine is the only application I know of, the period application I know of, that doesn't actively back it up. Now, it is also worth bearing in mind that there's a separate mechanism where you can transfer data from your old phone to your new phone. So if you want to get a new phone and you want to transfer your data, that data can still be transferred from one phone to another. So you can't disable, you can disable the backups, automatic backups to the cloud, right? But there's a separate mechanism that allows you to transfer the data from one phone to another. So if you decide to get a new phone, you don't lose all your data. You can still transfer the data from one phone. But that is something that's under your control. You decide that this data is going to be copied from your old phone to your new phone. And then that data is copied across from, via the data cable from one phone to another. So you can transfer your data to a new phone if you want to. But again, be aware that if anybody else has access to your phone and they decide they want to connect another phone to it, that they can copy that data from your phone to another phone. Right? So again, you need to be aware that the data that's stored in your phone needs to be encrypted. And this is why we encrypt the data independently of the Android application, because at every stage, right, there is data that can get taken off your phone, even if it's your phone, even if it's to another phone, even if it's to your Google Drive, that information can still be taken off your phone, whether or not another application accesses it, on all separate issues. Okay, you want to make sure that the data is under your control on your phone. And the only way to do that is to make sure the data on your phone is encrypted. You keep the phone in your possession, you don't lose your phone, the phone is locked, you use all the encryption that's available on the phone as well, so people can't access your phone and copy the data across. And you make sure that your data is not being backed up. So these are all things that you need to keep bear in mind. But I think My Period Data is Mine does the best job of ensuring that by default, your data is encrypted on the phone. So no matter who gets access to it, whatever way they want to copy it, whether it's from backup or phone to phone, it will always be encrypted, and you will need your passcode to unencrypt it. There's nothing we can do if you forget your passcode to unencrypt your data. The data will be gone. And we actively prohibit the backups into the cloud, so we make sure that the data is only ever on your phone, and only if you decide to copy the data to a new phone will that data come across. So hopefully that is a insightful and clear explanation of what's going on with the data, and particularly when you talk about other apps, be aware that your data may still be backed up, may still be accessible to the government in the cloud.
Exactly. Well said. I have one small update as well. So I have started an application for a grant. We do need financial support, especially if you want to roll out the app to Apple as well, and of course to finish the first version. So if you want to support us, you can help us as well. You can go onto Patreon and become a patron, or alternatively, you can support us via Stripe, via our website, and give a one-off donation. If you feel inclined and if you have time, you can also help us with your skills. So we would need a UX designer at the moment, and just general development of the app and marketing, basically to get the word out there as well. So if you have any skills in that area, and even if you don't have skills and just want to get involved, do get in touch and help this effort to make period tracking just a little bit more safe.
Yeah. And an artist as well, for creating little icons for all the
Yes.
symptoms and moods, etc., that we have available for you. Just a nice little icon to make it easier to identify.
Yes. So do get in touch. We'd love to hear from you. That was everything from me for today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And we will see you in November, the third week or third Tuesday in November. See you there. Bye bye.
Bye.